So the entire Sheryl Swoopes situation, like, it is what it is, I guess. We've seen it play out. We've seen Swoopes try to, first of all, belittle Caitlin Clark and then start talking about how, the Fever actually didn't need Caitlin Clark, and how it was Katie Lou Samuelson is as big. She implied Katie Lou Samuelson was as big of a factor for Caitlin, or for the Fever being good as Caitlin Clark. And no, I'm not going to misquote her. She did not say Katie Lou Samuelson was more important than Caitlin Clark. She implied that they were of equal importance. And also, we have then seen her make up that there are locker room issues with the Fever. And then, as recently as last week, talk about how Kelsey Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent. And, basically, if I were her, I would leave. Like, as good as that. Like, doing everything she can to make sure that, say, Kelsey Mitchell, well, none of these players, that all of the players for the Indiana Fever are gone. They're not going to be there next season. And implying that, Caitlin Clark is toxic and all this stuff. And it's backfiring so badly because the Indiana Fever seem to be, as far as team are concerned, one of the closest teams in the entire WNBA. Like, you've got the team that support each other. Realistically, like, Aaliyah Boston could have been unrivaled anyway. Realistically, Lexi Hull, her being unrivaled, does not happen if it's not for the Caitlin Clark effect. And obviously the two of them are good friends. And now you're looking at, if you look at, say, behind the scenes with the Aces, there's this lawsuit that's happening. With the Sky, it's all about, let's get rid of Dana Evans, let's get rid of these players because, they don't want to just watch Angel shoot 40% and not do anything else. But you've now got the Fever. Their players are all playing overseas. They were all happy. Like, if you're Erica Wheeler, raising money for charity, like, her charity received more money than ever before from Fever fans. Like, she's just been delighted with the fans. Like, people are like, oh, that Erica Wheeler has a problem with the Fever fans. No, Erica Wheeler, obviously she'll talk back to people on Twitter. She can handle it. Of all the people, she's the only person on the Fever that I don't care using social media because she can handle it. But at the end of the day, she's like, well, obviously people are going at me on social media. It's like, if you don't have haters, you're not doing well. And that's her attitude towards it all. And, like, she's just happy that she gets, like, she'll be sometimes eating a meal. Like, she'll be just eating out and someone will pay, a fan will just say, no, let me pay for her meal. Like, she loves it. Kelsey Mitchell with all the new stuff she has gotten. I can guarantee you she's the highest paid player in China. And you're looking now at the Fever right now where it's like, you're seeing the relationship between the Fever and the Pacers being incredibly, incredibly good, mainly because of the friendship between Tyrese Halliburton, the best player for the Pacers, and the best player for the Fever. You're seeing them all at Butler games, like Halliburton. You're seeing Halliburton with Miles Turner, with Caitlin Clark. You're now seeing, like, Lexi Hull out there supporting at a fundraiser, and Caitlin Clark, the two of them going out of their way to support at a fundraiser for between the Pacers and the Fever. And you're seeing, like, these two organizations that are really linking. They're really getting involved with the community. The Fever just seems to be probably the most positive environment in the WNBA, and you got to give credit partially to Christy Sides. Like, you got to give Christy Sides some credit for that, like, because this could have been an absolute disaster. But you've also, the one thing I will say when it comes to Lynn Dunn is it does seem like she got a lot. Even though I think the players she brought in, she did a horrible job of recruiting on the basketball court, like, she did recruit a team of good people. Like, if you look at the Indiana Fever, and I made a video about this during the season where I'm like, I think one of the reasons, whatever about Caitlin Clark, is like, it happened with Iowa as well, where it's like, you've got a team of, like, really likable players. Like, there is no, for lack of a better word, like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, there's no Dijonais on the team. Like, as much as Dijonais would help on the basketball court, there is no that type of player. Like, I don't think there's a more likable player in the WNBA. Or, like, to be fair, like, Fee Collier might be the most universally loved player, but, like, Erica Wheeler, Aaliyah Boston, like, it's hard to dislike either of those players. Like, as bad as she's been on the court, it's hard to dislike Katie Lou Samuelson as a person. Lexi Hull, Caitlin Clark. of all of them, like, if you dislike Caitlin Clark because of her antics on the court, I don't really care. There's some excuse for that. But you've got Sheryl Swoopes, her trying to make sure that everything bad is coming out about the fever, that all the players want to leave. And Amber Cox, as good as confirmed today, Kelsey Mitchell's staying. Like, so Amber Cox was talking about Kelsey Mitchell, and she talked about next year. So, like, Kelsey Mitchell's there. She's not going anywhere. She's staying. She literally said, the GM said, special year ahead for Kelsey Mitchell. Does not matter, she's non-restricted free agent. The core rule is a thing, and Sheryl Swoopes knows it. Sheryl Swoopes, as soon as she realized that people weren't going to believe the stuff she was saying, it was like she thought that, you know, she has the ability to be the puppet master. She tried to be the puppet master to break up this team because she's scared that Caitlin Clark, the better Caitlin Clark does, the more it'll destroy her legacy as a player. And the unfortunate reality of it is that the only thing that has destroyed the legacy of Sheryl Swoopes is Sheryl Swoopes. I think we can all just be honest about that. The only thing that is shown, that is destroyed her legacy is her showing people, like, some of the worst sides of her. It's like, I always call it doing a Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is one of the 75 greatest NBA players of all time. But he says so many ridiculous things in the media that people remember him saying he's better than Dwayne Wade. People remember some of the stuff that he said when he was on ESPN more than they remember Paul Pierce, the player. And that's the problem now, is that Sheryl Swoopes, the player, is not what people remember. People remember this version of Sheryl Swoopes. So the reality is that she's so defensive about her own legacy that she has destroyed her own legacy by doing it. And the reality is that the legacy of Lisa Leslie is not destroyed. The legacy of Cynthia Cooper is not destroyed. The legacy of Taurasi is not destroyed. The legacy of Maya Moore is not destroyed. Elena Deladon, may still be playing actually, Lindsay Whalen, all these players, their legacies aren't destroyed. And the reality is that their legacy and they are more known now than they were 12 months ago. Obviously, maybe not to the extent where that they should have been, but we can talk about it. Like, we can always talk about that. But at the same time, none of them have had a legacy hit because, you know, people learning about the game, and they're not trying to destroy a player, destroy a team, destroy what they believe is a threat to, I don't know, their legacy itself. And by doing that, she has done the exact thing that she's tried to stop.